The original Reinheitsgebot, the German beer purity law, which is really a beer tax law, which I can go into detail with if you like. But they didn't have yeast. It was water, barley, except for the wheat beers, which the elite, the higher ups brewed, because wheat was harder to come by, and hops. And the reason they picked hops was because the Germans were Protestants then, and they owned the tax right on hops. Because hops were just one of many things that bittered beer. There was juniper, there was bog myrtle, there was yarrow, there was rosemary. All the things, and there's still a style, it's not terribly popular now, and I don't know if it ever will be, but it's called a gruit. So it's a mix of different kinds of herbs that bittered the beer. Because if you realize, if you didn't have something to bitter the beer, it would taste like whiskey at beer strength. And in fact, to make whiskey, you make beer without hops. And then you distill it. You heat distill it, and it becomes whiskey, and it's sweet, and it's whiskey. Hops were one of many things to bitter it. So the Germans wanted the tax rights on the hops, so they said it had to be hops. And then lo and behold, hops turned out to be a preservative. So then suddenly the beer lasted 2 months instead of 2 weeks. So there you go. And now look at what we have today. People have their hops all around the world. You got all these different flavors. It's doing more than bittering. It used to just bitter and have a bitter flavor. Now there's so many different, you get passion fruit, tropical fruits, all kinds of hops. Blueberry notes from the Equinox hop that was experimental 366, I think, when we did a beer camp beer a couple years ago at Sierra Nevada. It is, it's fascinating stuff, but that's, hops became the important thing for German beer because they own the tax rights on it. And it turned out to be a great preservative, and so that's why we have hops and we don't have gruits. Plus, some of the other herbs made people sick and even killed people back in the day.
That's a good
so one. It's really weird, but that's where those 4 ingredients came by. And so the Germans, by being very self-centered about it, they actually really helped out because of the preservative quality of hops, which people didn't know, because of course there weren't bottles then. And
people think IPA comes from India instead of what's going to India.
Right. That is that's pretty amazing, that stuff too.